Hi, welcome to Making All the Plans. I'm Connie, and if we haven't met before, I'm a busy mom of two active kids, and both my husband and I have full-time careers. My goal is to share with you how I stay on top of all life throws at me in one planner so that you might be able to do the same. I have my decorated spread in front of me, and I will link to that in the description box below if you want more details on that. But I also have my HB90 notebook as well as my planner open to my in progress Kanban board tasks. The first thing that I am going to do is move all of my completed items over into my August completed section in my HB90 notebook. And unfortunately, I did not get as much completed as I would have liked. I have forgotten how much time high school soccer takes out of my schedule, and I'm not having to run kids to and from practice as much as I did when my son was a freshman. But my daughter can't drive yet, and my son and my daughter's practices overlap. So he can't chauffeur her all the time, which means I am driving her. Also, I forgot how far away all the games are. Most of our games are at least an hour away because we are a smaller school and we have to travel to other country schools or across town or just not inside the Columbus loop. So that means that I am going to have to do more accounting for that time. And I am going to overload my schedule this week. And I understand that I may not get everything accomplished. So, all of these post it notes that I am moving over to my planner are things that I want to work on in some way, shape, or form. So, those first two columns are this week's, next week's, and then I am going to move over the rest of this month's tasks as well. And that's because I want to start scripting, storyboarding, and planning for those upcoming videos. And I need to start getting on top of these things. Otherwise, the videos will start slipping more because I have an upcoming trip. So, my goal really is in the next 2 weeks to try to get ahead of schedule, but we will see how that goes. Now that I have all of my tasks that I want to work on in some way moved into my planner, I am now going to take those and write them in my sidebar. And that's because I like to have those front and center. I will only be writing the next 2 weeks worth of items, and as much as I wanted to write all of the items for the rest of the month in the sidebar, I was afraid it would overwhelm me. So I may end up regretting that because, as I mentioned, if it's not front and center, I tend to forget about it. So I may end up regretting that, but I'm hoping that I can still stay on top of it. My goal last night was to script at least a rough script of everything that's happening this month, and I did accomplish that. So that's a huge win. Now I just need to carve out that time for recording things. I have been doing a lot of talking at the camera, and that takes a little more effort than just recording my hands, but I'm trying to get into a good routine about when I am doing certain tasks. And I'm trying to get a little bit ahead this week so that next week I can start working on that routine and working at least a week ahead on videos. I am also going to put my errands and my home tasks in the sidebar, and I definitely want to make sure that I get the basement swept and organized this week because I am not sure when they will come to start finishing the basement. And I want to make sure that it's ready and that I'm not trying to rush in between soccer schedules when I do get that call that they're ready to come and start working on the basement. Then I'll pop back up to my making all the plans section and write in those admin tasks because those have been slipping off my radar as well. Next up, I'm going to write in my calendar items. I am going to use the boxes each day to write the kids' soccer schedules. And it is a little crazy this week because Thursday is picture day, video day, all of those extra things that have to happen before the season starts. So the Thursday box may not be big enough, but I will make it work. I do like breaking the kids' activities that I'm not necessarily involved with out into their own area because it makes me realize that I do have time or I don't have time. The one thing that I think I'm going to have to change when I break out the kids' schedules is that I need to put the games and scrimmages on my schedule or on my area as well or instead of because I was not really accounting for that time that I'm going to be spending traveling to or watching the games. But just a little more tweaking as I go through this back to school season. Monday is a bit hectic. We have doctor's appointments this week. I have an IKEA delivery, which I'm super excited about. And then the kids also have appointments with the guidance counselor to go over their schedules for the year. Thankfully, Monday is a work at home day, so I will be back from the doctor's with my daughter before most people log on. So I will go to the doctor, swing by, pick up my groceries, come home. My daughter will unload those groceries, and I will get to work. Then at my lunch break, I will run to the high school to see the guidance counselor with the kids. Tuesday and Thursday are my normal in-office days, and it looks like those will be the in-office days for this week. I may end up running in on Wednesday. That is yet to be determined, but my daughter also has a medical appointment on Wednesday. If you're working alongside of me, I'll give you a minute to review your own calendar. Thankfully, I'm not seeing any glaring errors or issues I need to deal with this week. Unfortunately, my kids do have scrimmages at the same time in different locations, so I will have to pick a direction, but otherwise, our schedule looks manageable. So, other than Monday, our schedule doesn't look too terribly crazy. The kids, yeah, theirs looks a little nuts, but keep in mind that that's both kids' schedules in those boxes, not just one. Now I want to come back in and write in my tasks for the week, keeping in mind that Tuesday I will probably be traveling across town after work to go to my son's scrimmage, and then we have a scrimmage Friday night and Saturday night as well. But I'm going to start by working through each of my videos in the sidebar and breaking down what still needs to happen for each video. So for example, for this video, which is the top one, I still need to edit it, and that happens first thing on Monday morning. Then I will just continue to step through each one of those items listed on the sidebar. I basically do the same thing for work as well. I look at an item, decide if it's a task or if it's a bigger project that needs broken down into multiple steps, and then I figure out which days I can work on each of the tasks that I've then broken down. So, regardless of whether you work for YouTube or it's a home project you're working on or a work project, all of these items follow the same steps. Write out what you want to do for the week, decide whether those need to be broken down into smaller tasks that are more bite sized, and then write down when you want to do each task. Or if you're looking at a day, just look at the project and say, this is the next step I need to take on this project, and write that step down for the day. Don't forget about your home tasks as well if that is not your main priority. I tend to put all of my home tasks on the back burner, and I'm trying to resolve that this quarter. There are things that have got to get done this summer before the weather gets cold, as well as preparing for the basement remodel that we are about to embark on. I also need to make sure that the weekly home blessing gets completed this week because we may have guests this weekend due to the soccer games that are conveniently scheduled back to back and at home. So we will see if I can get everything done. Hopefully, the rest of the family can pitch in. The kids' schedules are a bit crazy, but I know my daughter is willing to help, and hopefully, my husband's work schedule allows him to do a little bit of helping as well. We also have some yard work that needs to be done, and we are going to have to get the bushes planted here soon. Otherwise, we probably won't get them planted until next spring. And I'd really like to get those planted this fall and not have to wait until next spring. Anyway, let me get the rest of these home tasks written down. And then honestly, that is it for this spread. I am a little overwhelmed looking at all of the things that need to be done, keeping in mind that my work stuff is separate from all of this. But I will just focus on one day at a time and shifting things back if necessary. But I hope that everybody has a great week. If you like this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye.